Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today we'll be learning a new poem called Grandma Climbs a Tree. It is written by Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond is an Indian author. He is awarded the Sahitya Academy Award, Padma Shri as well as Padma Bhushan. Now without wasting any time, let's start with the poem. My grandmother was a genius. You did like to know why? Because she could climb trees, spreading or high. She did be up their branches in a trice. And mind you, when last she climbed a tree, she was 62. Ever since childhood, she did had this gift for being happier in a tree than in a lift. So the poet Ruskin Bond, he starts the poem by saying that his grandmother was a genius. Now who's a genius? Who do you call a genius? Genius means a very extremely intelligent person, right? So in case you see somebody very smart, very intelligent in some area, then we call that person as a genius. So the writer, the author, he is describing his grandmother as genius. Why? He's giving us the reason why. Because she could climb trees, whether those trees are spreading or it is very high. She could be able to climb those branches in a trice. What do you mean by trice? Trice meaning instantly, immediately she was able to climb those branches. And you have to know that when the last time she climbed a tree, she was 62 years old. So ever since childhood, from her childhood, she had this gift that she would be happy in a tree than in a lift. Being with trees made his grandmother very happy. And though, as years went by, she would be told that climbing trees should stop when one grew old, and that growing old should be gone about gracefully. She did laugh and say, "Well, I will grow disgracefully. I can do it better." And we had to agree, for in all the garden there wasn't a tree she hadn't been up at one time or another, having learned to climb from a loving brother when she was 6. But it was feared by all that one day she did have a terrible fall. The outcome was different. While we were in town, she climbed a tree and couldn't come down. So from childhood, we come to know that she was happier in a tree. She would always climb trees. So as years passed on, she would always be told by other people that climbing trees should stop when one grew old. Obviously, right? We don't see many old people climbing trees. So many would tell her that when you grow old, you have to stop. You cannot climb trees after you grow old. And growing old should be gone about gracefully. What do you mean by gracefully? Simple way, sophisticated manner, like in a very elegant manner. Grandmother, she would laugh when people would tell her that growing old should be done very gracefully, very elegantly. She would laugh and say, "I will grow disgracefully. I can do that better. I cannot be graceful." And finally, the people of their house, they had to agree, because in that entire garden there wasn't a tree that the grandmother had not been up at one time or another. She would climb the trees. She had climbed almost every tree in that entire garden, having learned to climb from a loving brother when she was 6. So she started climbing trees when she was at the age of 6 because of her brother. He taught her how to climb trees. But it was feared by all. Being a girl, she might fall. So everyone was scared. They feared. They were worried for her that she might fall one day. But the outcome, the result was different. Once, when these people were not in town, the people of their house, they were not in town, they had gone somewhere out, she climbed a tree, but she couldn't come down because of her age. She couldn't come down. It was difficult for her. After the rescue, the doctor took Granny's temperature and said, I strongly recommend a quiet week in bed. We sighed with relief and tucked her up well. Poor Granny. For her, it was like a brief season in hell. Confined to her bedroom, while every breeze whispered of summer and dancing leaves. After the rescue, after saving her from that tree, after bringing her down from that tree, the doctor checked Granny's temperature. Okay, and he said, I strongly recommend, that is, I give advice that she should rest for a week in a bed. That is, she should take bed rest. So the entire people of the house, they were happy. They were sighed with relief that she was fine. Okay, sighed with relief, meaning that the tension was gone. They were relieved. They didn't have any worry anymore that something might be wrong with the granny. She's fine. Okay, and they tucked her up well. That is, they took care of her well. They made her sleep on the bed. But poor Granny, for her, it was like a brief season in hell. Why? Because she didn't like to be inside a room. She wanted to be outside. So confined to her bedroom. What do you mean confined? Confined means restricted in an area. Okay? Limited area. So she was kept in that bedroom. She was locked up in that bedroom, but she knew that every breeze outside was whispering of summer and dancing leaves. It means that the outside weather was so beautiful, but she could not enjoy that. Why? Because she was inside the room. The doctor had told her to be inside the room taking rest. But she had held her peace till she felt stronger. Then she sat up and said, I will lie here no longer. And she called for my father and told him undaunted that a house in a treetop was what she now wanted. My dad knew his duties. He said, That's all right. You will have what you want, dear. I will start work tonight. But the granny, she had held her peace. Means she kept quiet only till she felt stronger, till she became fine. And once she became fine, she sat up and she said, I will lie here no longer. I am not going to be in this bed. I am not going to stay in this confined room. She called for my father. That is, she called her son and told him undaunted. What do you mean by undaunted? Without hesitation. She said, I need a house in a treetop. This is what I want. You have to build a house for me in the tree. So the dad, that is the poet's father or the grandmother's son, he knew his duties. He had to listen to his mother. So he said, okay, if that's what you want, I will do it. I will start tonight. I will start working on it. With my expert assistance, he soon finished the core, made her a tree house with windows and a door. So Granny moved up, and now every day I climb to her room with glasses and tray. She sits there in state and drinks sherry with me, upholding her right to reside in a tree. So with the author's expert assistance, that is, the author helped his father, and finally he finished the core. Core means task, the work that was assigned to him. He had made a tree house with windows and a door. So now Granny moved up. She was in that tree house itself. She started living there, and every day the writer, the poet Ruskin Bond, he would climb to her room with glasses and tray. Every day he would climb to meet his grandmother. He would sit there and they would drink sherry. What is sherry? It is a yellow or brown colored wine. And upholding her right to reside in a tree, that is, she made very clear to the world that this is what I want and I will stay in this tree. I don't want to stay inside a bedroom or inside a house. This is my house. I want to live in a tree. This was the grandmother. I do hope you don't have any doubts regarding this poem. In case you do, you can comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more interesting videos. Thank you and stay safe.